Monday when I was reading the chapter for today's message, I said, I was on the airplane, and I sent an email that would send, of course, after I landed, to Catherine, and I said, she's talking about this lonesome whale. So could you do a lonesome whale for us? And she emailed back, absolutely not.
I was nicer than that.
That was a bottom line. It wasn't nicer, And so I was just sitting here when she was singing that song, and I thought, let's just take a moment, each one of us, to imagine in our mind, or hear with our ears, just inside of us, what does a high lonesome whale sound like? Have you ever experienced it from someone else or from yourself? Just find where that lonesome whale is in your body. And then I'm going to count to 3, and I want us to just do it. Okay? Each one of us, so we don't have to be embarrassed, because everybody else is going to be doing it. Everybody else is going to be doing it. So we need never be alone in our lonesome whale. But tap into that time when you heard it from someone else. Or when you had your own lonesome whale that maybe you repressed, and that's still in there, wanting to come out. So here we go, on the count of 3. 1, 2, drum roll. Drum roll, Brian. Oh, he's doing it. 3! Wow, that's better than we could have done on our own. Right, Kendra? Wow. As I was just starting to do it, I remembered a time when the best counseling I ever received, I called my friend Alexander Shia. Some of you know him. And I was telling him about yet another guy who had fallen through the cracks in my life. And what he did was he did a lonesome whale. It was very quiet, but he just wailed. I can't even replicate it. He just went, oh, and I felt so seen. I felt so heard. It was the greatest counseling I had ever received. To just really, he felt my pain. He felt that, and he expressed it so beautifully, so simply. So we're studying Brene Brown's book, Braving the Wilderness. And I was thinking about Brene Brown. Her initials are BB. And my initials are BB. And Brian's initials are BB. And when I have something I want posted on the bulletin board, I write to Catherine or Wanda, BB2. Which means my initials, I've approved it going on the bulletin board. Oh, this trivia. But anyway, Brene Brown has written this wonderful book called Braving the Wilderness. And I didn't select it because I was going on a camping excursion on my sabbatical, but I thought it was a nice coincidence. But the title of this chapter, chapter 3, is High Lonesome, a spiritual crisis. A spiritual crisis. And so when I thought about what the human condition is, I realized that the human condition that's being addressed here is the spiritual crisis isn't that whale that we just did, but that spiritual crisis is when we forget who we are. And when we aren't grounded in love and compassion, when we're dealing with people who we perceive as our enemies, or who we just plain don't like, or we find difficult, or whatever. Am I the only one that hasn't been grounded in love and compassion when I think about these people, when I interact with them, when I'm in discussions about them? Okay, maybe it's Obama, maybe it's Trump, one or the other. Can you be grounded? Can I be grounded in love and compassion? When I think about whether it's a politician or another public figure, whether it's a neighbor, a family member, whatever. Because the affirmation, do we have the affirmation on the overhead? So I want to invite you to affirm this with me 3 times together. I remember together. Oh, that's it. Did you give her the affirmation for today's?
I don't know.
Okay, you get to remember. So here, I'll say it once and then we can say it together. The affirmation for today's message is, I remember and act from my divine nature and oneness. I'll say it again. I remember and act from my divine nature and oneness. Let's say that all together now. I remember and act from my divine nature and oneness. So that is the spiritual solution to that human condition of not being grounded, of not being grounded in love and compassion. And I thought it was also coincidental that after I finished our regional conference at noon on Thursday, and after an all-afternoon board meeting, I then on Friday and Saturday spent time with the Reverend Robert Brendalyn, who's my spiritual director. And he did a introduction to spiritual direction at Unity Church of the Hills in Austin. And it was awesome. And there were like 30 people there. And I just finished my certification in spiritual direction in May, but it took it to a different level. It took that ability to listen to a different level for me. And one of the processes we did, which you'll be delighted we do not have time to do during the service. I know some people, Carolyn, will be delighted. And it's a process we've done in prayer chaplain training sometimes in the past. And that is where you partner off and one person speaks for, in this case, Friday and Saturday, we did this several times, 15 minutes without interruption on a topic that came to us. And the topic that came to all 3 of my partners on the first round was how to live from our divine nature. And I thought that then when I'm really getting into the message, I'm thinking, well, that's what we did. We spent 15 minutes. I invite you to sit in front of a mirror or sit with someone and just explore what acting like, remembering and acting from your divine nature, how that shows up in your life. What shows up when you don't act from that. And so we'll spare you having to do it during the service, okay? So Brene Brown says, spirituality is recognizing and celebrating that we are all inextricably connected to everyone by a power greater than all of us, and that our connection to that power and to one another is grounded in love and compassion. Okay, so we're all connected. We are one, regardless of the fact that we look separate. We're really just energy that's come into slowed down enough to be solid. Not really solid, but it looks solid, okay? But we are actually one. And so whatever we radiate out, whatever feelings we're having, however we're acting, people literally feel. In the 60s, we call it good or bad vibes. Remember that? I got good vibes from her. I got really bad vibes from that person. So we are vibrating what it is. And so we want to make sure that we are vibrating our divine nature so that we are blessing everyone by our presence. And the fact is, because we are we are one, as Catherine sang, we are never alone. Never alone. And I can remember times when I wasn't as strongly on my spiritual path as I am now. I can remember times of feeling lonely. And some of those times were, as Brene Brown describes in this chapter, times when I was around a lot of people. And yet I felt lonely. I remember I was a stepmother. I still am. In fact, I had dinner with one of my stepsons in Austin Friday night. And I can remember in the core family that we had, with Ian and Kirsty and my husband Ken, and they all loved me, and I knew they loved me, and I loved them. But there were times right in the midst of them when I felt lonely. I felt my loneliness because it felt like them and me. I have been at conferences, sometimes unity conferences, and I always get my own room so I can be a recluse, you know. And I wind up feeling lonely because I don't want to be out there among all those people. And I know some of you who are introverts can relate to that. But as I know my oneness, I really have no excuse to ever feel lonely. Because in fact, I am never alone. And neither are you. So in Unity, we teach conscious oneness. Conscious oneness. Our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, said that the greatest sin, okay, I'll give you a test, those of you who could study in Unity for a while, what does Charles Fillmore say our greatest sin is? Pardon?
Forgetting.
Forgetting? Well, that's part of it, because what he says is, pardon?
Feeling separate.
Yes, feeling separate. So forgetting our oneness. So the greatest sin is a false belief in separation, because it's a false belief. We are not separate. We are one. And so we focus in Unity on unity, not duality. Even though we see the polarities and all of that down, we just want to focus on the oneness. So I think of the spiritual crisis of high lonesome. And it only exists because of our belief in separation. So, Carolyn, I hate to tell you, but that is a sin. It is missing the mark of our perfection. Missing the mark, forgetting that we are one, and then acting toward others as if we are not one, and not taking their divinity, their divine nature into consideration. I remember many years ago, actually when I was going through a divorce, and I was thinking that I could get over this feeling of failure and loneliness and all this stuff, betrayal and all of that, if I just could meet somebody else. You know? Someone else that would distract me from all of this. That would be the solution. And so I was swimming at the time. I don't remember how many laps or how many miles a day, and so I went to the aquatic center when I lived in Los Alamos, and I was swimming my laps, and I had opened up a Joel Goldsmith book right before I went home, and there was some quote about having a spiritual partnership and holy relationship, something like that. So I'm affirming as I'm swimming, and all of a sudden from the bottom of my feet came this realization that with God, my divine nature, as my perfect spiritual partner, all my relationships are holy. All my relationships. So I didn't need one person to be my perfect spiritual partner. But with God, with my divine nature, embracing who I am, having that as my main, primary spiritual relationship, or spiritual partner, that all my relationships are holy. Wow. What's our excuse, right? What's our excuse when we have this one who loves us unconditionally, who will never betray us, who is always there for us? How could we ever feel lonely? And so I want to invite you to take a moment, and I want you to imagine you're somewhere out in the wilderness and in nature, somewhere in nature. It's a beautiful place. Make sure it's a really beautiful place where you feel really safe. And I want you to imagine, if it helps to close your eyes, you can. I want you to imagine that you're standing there, the fresh air, and feeling expansiveness in your chest for this wonderful, magnificent piece of nature that you are experiencing. And off in the distance, you see a figure. And it's as it comes closer to you, as this person comes closer to you, you recognize this person as your beloved spiritual teacher or master, spiritual master, male, female, in the past, in the present, whatever. And just feel the joy in your heart as you see this wonderful, beloved spiritual teacher heading your way, heading right to you. And so that person arrives, that teacher arrives and opens his or her arms and embraces you. I want you to feel the love as you're being embraced by this Holy One. And just drink deeply of it. And grounded in that love, your spiritual teacher says to you, my beloved, what's one question? What's one question that you have? And the question that comes to your mind is, how can I tolerate these people that I find so difficult, that I don't like, that I really feel are my enemies? What can I do? How can I tolerate them? And I want you to listen for the answer. And then as your beloved leaves, I want you to come back to this room, open your eyes. And I wonder if any of you would be willing to share. What did your teacher say?
Love yourself.
Love yourself. Love yourself. Because guess what? Jesus said, love thy neighbor as thyself. And we can only love our neighbor to the extent that we get our song. To the extent that we love ourselves. What else? What did someone else get?
Invite them over.
Invite them over. Wow, that's going to be next week's message, right? Yeah. You can't make someone that's close to you move in or something.
How many of you do you think there are?
How many of them do you think there are? Yeah.
How many of you do you think there are?
How many of you? Obviously, you think they're separate, right? Yeah. Anyone else?
Be present. Be present.
Be present. Be here now. Well, when I was, before last, I was in Minneapolis. I had to pack for Minneapolis weather and Austin weather. Not easy. But I was in Minneapolis attending the Lombard Mennonite mediation skills. People said, oh, have a great meditation retreat. Mediation skills. Mediation skills training. And we did this process, only we got to make up our own question. And so my question, and the teacher that appeared was Jesus. And I asked Jesus, how do you deal with the atrocious things that people do in your name? And you know what Jesus said? I just love them. Wow, what a novel idea. I just love them. So that's our big how-to for today's message. And to be grounded in love and compassion when we're dealing with, especially those, with anyone, but especially those who we find difficult, whether we're watching the news, whatever. Can we bring ourselves to our heart? Can we tap into the love that is our divine nature? And can we send that love? What if we could do that? I think our world would change. I think we could get some things done in Congress. You know? If people would just open their heart to love, instead of saying, I'm voting this way because the other party's voting that way, or whatever it is, we could have, our country could be great again if we could love, if we could really come from loving kindness. And speaking of to-dos, Tuesday is the loving kindness meditation. I encourage you to come. I'm going to do a loving kindness meditation as we close. But to practice loving kindness, to overcome, to get through whatever spiritual crisis, whatever high lonesomeness you may be feeling. And I also want to invite you, I am starting my spiritual direction practice. So if any of you are interested in spiritual direction, it is a wonderful way of being able to do that, learning to tap into what is it your divine nature is calling you to do in a situation. And it's not counseling, it's not therapy, it's not coaching. And the spiritual director is not me. The spiritual director is your divine nature. I am simply the sacred space holder. So if you're interested in that, let me know. So now, I celebrate that when we remember and act from our divine nature and our oneness, that we bless ourselves and we bless others beyond our wildest dreams. And let's begin doing that right now in the sacred time of shared prayer. So I invite us to take a moment to have just a brief taste of loving kindness. In Hindu, it's called metta. And I invite you to affirm these words silently to yourself, having my words be your words. And so we prepared for this by just dropping down from our heads to our hearts. Letting our breath find its own rhythm and pace. And probably noticing that as we do, it slows down and it deepens. And because it is so important to love ourselves in order to love others, we begin with ourselves. So I invite you to pray silently. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be filled with loving kindness and compassion. May I be free of negativity and suffering. May I prosper abundantly in all ways, always. And then take a deep breath and bring to mind a loved one, or maybe several loved ones, and silently pray. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be filled with loving kindness and compassion. May you be free of negativity and suffering. May you prosper abundantly in all ways, always. And then breathe again consciously. And bring to mind someone you don't know, maybe someone you've passed in the grocery store, maybe a whole group of people you don't know, maybe everyone you don't know, or those people you know that you have totally neutral feelings about. And silently pray to them. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be filled with loving kindness and compassion. May you be free of negativity and suffering. May you prosper abundantly in all ways. Always. And now take a deeper breath. This is where the rubber meets the road. I invite you to bring to mind someone that you dislike, someone you find difficult, someone you perceive as an enemy. And grounded in love and compassion, I invite you to pray to them. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be free of negativity and suffering. May you prosper abundantly in all ways. Always. And then remembering our oneness with all creation, I invite you to pray metta for all beings, all creation. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be filled with loving kindness and compassion. May you be free of negativity and suffering. May you prosper abundantly in all ways. Always. I invite you to send that prayer. Feel it in your body for all those people, for all beings, and radiate it out as we commune together in the silence. And as we gently bring our attention back to this time and place, I invite you to allow your heart to fill with gratitude. For our oneness. Feel gratitude for the wisdom to remember to act from our divine nature and oneness. And silently say, thank you, thank you, thank you, that as all beings are happy, that as all beings are peaceful, that as all beings are filled with loving kindness and compassion, that as all beings are free from negativity and suffering, and that as all beings prosper abundantly and always, always, there is peace, there is love, there is the highest good, and so it is.